Like I've had a couple clients come to me like, hey, we're also talking to like other 2 videographers. We'll let you know. I don't take that as like, damn, they're not going to choose me. I take that as like, all right, we'll see. We'll see who gets it. Yeah. And then once they do choose me, I was like, all right, I'm going to give you something that you won't regret.
Yeah.
And it's usually like that all the time. And it's also varies on pricing too. Like, I don't know. If you value content, the pricing will back itself up once you get that return on investment. It's just working with the clients too that value content and value the work.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Rewind podcast. We're on episode 5 officially, and today we have a very special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, the one that creates a lot of our content, the one that edits the podcast for us, Saucedo Media, Alvaro, and then my co-host Jon, and myself, Edgar. But yeah, man, I'm excited to have you. Are you excited to be here?
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. This is the first time I'm in front of the camera, so we'll see how it goes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So, but how was your weekend? I know you said you did a couple fun things. Did more content for other people.
Yep. So this weekend, it was nothing crazy. I just did an event on Sunday for this girl that was hosting. Her name is Lux Events on Instagram, and she's like pretty big. She does all the event planning for all the like weddings, huge parties and stuff. She's pretty big too. She's done stuff for like Broncos players, Nuggets players, Rockies, stuff like that. So she's pretty big. But yeah, this Sunday she had an event going on, and I just went to go get content for her. So it was cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many people do you have that you go and get content for right now?
There's a lot. So it depends on like the industry too. Like a lot right now, what's keeping me booked is real estate. So I work with a lot of real estate agents and just get content for them. I shoot their listings, photos, videos, stuff like that. So, but then other than that, I have like a couple friends that are personal trainers. I get gym content of them, and then some local gyms in the area that I do content for too. So
yeah. I feel like I've seen a lot of the content like on your social media and stuff. Mostly recently because I knew you were coming on, so I wanted to like dig in there and kind of see what kind of content. Yeah, well, it's good content. I've seen many different people create content, and another company we used to work for, the way everybody approaches content.
Yes,
you have a very, in my opinion, unique style, and you have your own style. I think photographers, videographers kind of focus on a certain like contrast and certain like, I don't know, different. There's a lot to it, I think. And
definitely.
And even I guess with that being said, like we're gonna rewind. Like we have been the past couple of weeks and kind of go into your background. I know that you're big into basketball, sports, like all these different things. But yeah, I guess with that being said, let's dig right into it. And we have a couple also questions that some people wanted to ask him, but we'll get into those a little bit further down into the podcast. But I guess, tell us a little bit about your background and how, I guess, what was your life like?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised here in Denver, Colorado. Grew up in the Sunnyside neighborhood, and what started pretty much everything like media-wise was back in high school.
Yeah.
I started playing basketball all through high school, all 4 years. And then my senior year, the coach hired just a couple of student managers, and he actually had them film the games. And my junior and senior year, I was taking some college courses, just basic Photoshop, Illustrator, movie editing, stuff like that. And so with the footage that the managers got during our games, I went up to the coach and I was like, hey, is it okay if I just get this footage and just like make some content or just some like video highlight reels for us? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, definitely go ahead. And then from my junior to senior year, I try to learn as much as I can being in those classes. But my senior year is when I got into most of like the video editing stuff. And then that's when I got like interested in, all right, this is pretty cool. Like seeing like a highlight video of like our team, like even me just like shooting a corner 3 with like my teammates, like it was cool to watch. Like I go backing now to go see that, it's trash. It's such a bad video, but it was cool to see where I started to now. So
I think there's a lot of I've played around with like Adobe, like all these different editing softwares. I played around with them. It's not what I sell roofs, so I don't necessarily know the logistics of the creating content, because when you're creating something, you're putting a vision into it. So how does that happen? Like how are you able to like edit things to what you make them. Like you've done a lot of our reels and stuff like that. I just watch it. I'm like,
yeah,
it looks really good. Like it's
what's your process? How do you break this?
You don't have to share too much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Yeah, we don't want to give away your secrets.
No.
But how do you know?
So usually before I get into like any content creation, depending on the client, I have 3 shots that I always have to make sure that I get. The first shot is a wide angle shot, which pretty much is the establishing shot, showing where we're at, the setting, who I'm with, what's going on in the area. And then the second shot will be like a medium shot, which is like the talent coming in or showcasing like some detail shots. But then after that is all the close-ups, like close-ups to hands, if they're doing something with the hands. Like with you guys with the roofing, I got some guys close up hammering the shingles and stuff like that, going up a ladder, picking up materials, stuff like that. So those are the 3 main shots that I get no matter like the content that I'm trying to capture. Those are the 3 ones that I have to start with.
Trying to paint a picture for your audience, get an idea of what's happening in the area. Like they're almost like, there with whatever's happening. Because I've watched plenty of your videos, especially the one obviously that you've done for us. And you feel like it makes the stuff that I'm doing seem better than the stuff that I'm actually doing. So
it's like, roofing looks kind of fun. Yeah, no, it's crazy how you have to have an eye for detail. So do you think a camera makes a difference when it comes to creating? Because I know, again, I've recorded a few videos. We recorded one yesterday for Virtuous Roofing as far as like certain things. But then I look at our videos and then I compare it to yours.
Yeah.
Not even close. Do you think an iPhone camera is different than what you're using for your video editing and whatnot?
Yes, definitely. But iPhone now, it has come a long way. Like the technology for cameras on the phone, like it's crazy. You could do so much. But I would still say like if you want to like create good quality content, like invest in a good camera. You don't have to go crazy expensive, but invest in a good camera. That way you have that footage and the settings, the specs that a camera has. Like a phone can only do so much. Yeah. But you can get a lot done with a phone. Yeah. Especially the new iPhones that shoot 4K, 30 frames per second. And usually for my content, I like to slow things down. Slow motion, give it like that cool emotion effect. And that you could get it on the phone as well. But it depends on the creator. And you just got to find a story in it.
Yeah. So, it's like I said, every videographer that I've seen, when we were looking for a videographer, we looked at a few different ones. Yeah. And your content kind of popped out a little bit more than the other ones because just the creativity, like you could tell you put a lot of effort into each video that you make. Yeah. Like the time and effort and the uniqueness that you put into it. It could be generic, like every other person that I saw, like they're making similar content. But I think in my opinion, when it came to seeing yours, it was a little bit different. Nice. But sweet. I guess for like, you said in high school you played basketball. So what was that like for you? Is that something that you still do, and do you implement some of that stuff still to like the work ethic? I know I played basketball as well, and I know that there's a lot of different things that happen in basketball as far as like coordination, like practicing, drills, everything like that. Does that transition to your current business?
It does actually, because growing up, I've always been like very athletic. I like to say I always like to mess around with my family, and I always tell them I'm the most athletic one in the family. Like they're like, yeah, whatever, Alvy. But I always like to play around with that. But like growing up, I've always been into sports. I would always go run, play hide and seek, go to the park, always play some kind of sport. But basketball is what like I fell in love with. Yeah. And growing up, I started playing at this park across the street. And then that was like my middle school age. And then that's when I fell in love with basketball. And then high school is when I first ever joined a team. Like anytime before that, I've never joined a team. I don't know. I didn't know what fundamental basketball was. Yeah. I was a street hooper. But yeah, no, from there till now, I still play. Like I'm playing in adult leagues now. Like I have a game every Thursday, and I try to jump on a league like every season just to keep that cardio up. Yeah. Just stay active. Yeah. Because now, important. Like, for sure. But now, like doing this media stuff, I'm always on the run. Like especially like holding a gimbal, like I'm holding probably with everything on it, probably like a good 30 pounds.
Jeez.
So, and that's all day. Like my hands get tired. So I got to make sure like I'm staying active to just be able to do that. Especially like working with like fitness trainers, because they're, depending on what they're training, like there's some weightlifters, but then there's like some that do agility workouts. Yeah. So they're like fast, doing quick movements. So I got to keep up with them. So that's one thing I like. It's like I like just being there. Like I'm with you. I'm right there. So let's go.
It's like I remember watching one of the memes or whatever where it's like, you know, the it's I forget. It's like the Olympics and the sprints and stuff like that, and they're sprinting down and stuff like that. The fastest man is Usain Bolt and everything, but it's actually like the cameraman.
The camera guy that's right there with them.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's like the referees in the NFL. I don't know if you ever seen.
Those guys are the soccer guys too. The soccer refs, those guys are running down the field like crazy.
The players,
yeah.
Did you grow up with a big family? Did you grow up with a lot of siblings? Are you like an only child?
No, I'm of 5 brothers. Oh, wow. Just all boys too. Wow. Yeah. Oh, but my family is huge. Like I don't even know. But I have like probably like 9 aunties, like 2 uncles. Yeah, and each one has their own little family already. So, but
my families were taking notes from each other. My family's the exact same thing. It's not just only like we have a big family, but all my external family, like they all got a bunch of kids too.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I mean, makes holidays fun.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Are you close with your family? Are you like are you close with all your brothers? Are you close with your like your intermediate family and things like that?
No, me and my brothers, we're pretty close. 2 of them now. The ones younger than me, they're living in Austin right now, actually. Wow. Yeah, and then the youngest one, he's here, and then my oldest brother, he's here as well. But yeah, no, I said we're right now, since like we're all like 6 years apart, so we have different like things of interest, but we're still cool. Like we hang out when they're here, or we talk on the phone here and there. But we're so different that we're not like always talking to each other and stuff like that. So
I think I'm the same way with my siblings as well. Yeah. It's like you said, you like the gaps. Yeah. You grew up essentially different. You were raised different. Every child's. Were you like one of the first, the oldest, or the young? Like where do you sit?
I was the second. I was the second oldest. Yeah, and then there's 3 after me. So I had 1 older brother.
Yeah. How's your relationship with your younger siblings? Do you like, because you said there's like a 6-year gap in between all you guys. So are you kind of like, do you try and mentor them along the way, like lead them in the path of entrepreneurship and things like that?
I tried to, but they always just like, you don't know what you're talking about, Avi. Stop. Like, what are you talking about? But no, like one thing that all my brothers right now, besides the youngest one, we kind of had like that entrepreneurship in us. Like my oldest brother, he is huge in like the trade industry, and he knows how to do remodeling. He knows how to do drywall, roofing, like concrete. He knows how to do all that hands-on stuff. Yeah. And then there's me, that I do all the creative things. And then the one after me, he was big on the selling stuff like through Amazon, and he was big on the Yeezys. Adidas, I don't know if you guys. He would like get a bunch of those, sell those, and he had like his own like little business going. Even with the PS5s, like when those were hard to get, he would get them and then sell them like for double the price. Like that guy's crazy.
I heard because PS5s were like $500.
Yeah.
Yeezys alone, I mean, those are freaking expensive. But when PS5 came out, they like only made a certain amount of consoles, meaning that some people purchased like 10 consoles and then they would go back and sold them for like, instead of $500, they're selling for $1,200.
Yeah, they were hard to get.
They're very hard to get. Like, I barely got one.
I would not know, but
no, but yet then the one after him, he's big on like craftsmanship. So right now he has like this brand, Street Cowboy is what he's calling it, and he does a lot of leather work. So he does like leather, like bags, cases, laptop bags, stuff like that, and he just does like some custom like designs on it and stuff like that. And he's 22 right now, so he's learning that craft. And then right now he's the one that I'm kind of pushing, like, hey, like if you want to keep doing this, like invest in like your time to learn how to do this stuff.
Yeah, I have quite a few friends who got into leather working, and it's very interesting. Like, it's pretty cool. It's bigger than I thought it was. As far as, like,
for sure.
Engraving things into the leather and stuff, and it's pretty cool. How did he get into that?
Honestly, I don't even know. One day he just hits me up and he's like, "Does this look cool, bro?" And then he sends me a picture. I was like, "Damn, like you did that?"
So he's more artistic.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah. So he likes to just do all that stuff. But then he's like, right now his mindset is like, get money fast. So he's kind of like, all right, this is taking forever to do. Like, I'm gonna try to do something else to get some money. But we'll see what he does.
And starting a business, I mean, it takes a lot of effort, vision, and like consistent work. I think the difference between, I don't know about you with your business, but motivation and consistency are two complete different things.
Yeah.
So did your family grow up with the like, I guess, entrepreneurial like mindset? Like, did your parents like, you know, put that in, kind of engrave that into your guys' mind to say you go after what you want and you're going to achieve it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was actually the opposite. We were pretty much how we were raised is pretty much that traditional Mexican pathway of like, go to school, go to college, get a good job, get a house, and you're set. Never was told to take that path. Like, all right, if you find something that you love to do, find out how to grow in it and get paid for it. Like, that was never instilled in us. And then I think, I would say, once I like was able to start getting paid for like taking photos, doing videos, that's when I started getting into it more. Cause before that, I was working with the school district for 10 years. And then just recently, 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not happy. I was waking up miserable. And I was like, I'm gonna just go take this leap and see what happens.
When you were working for the school district, so that's when you like started working for the basketball team and like shooting all of their videos and stuff like that. So you did what you were doing now basically, but just under the school district?
Somewhat. Sometimes, I would do that, but like usually when I was working with the school district, I would do just like the basic like family photos, senior photos, stuff like that, and then video content. I would just do like shoot the family parties and stuff like that.
No offense to any high schoolers out there, but I can imagine that being miserable, taking school photos and stuff like that.
How'd you get into the school? Like, how did you end up working there?
Actually, one of my aunties was working already with the district. So as soon as I graduated, like, hey, like, can you get me into the schools? And she was like, yeah, definitely. And then, she got me under this program that was with the schools that was helping pretty much underprivileged kids and then kids that were always like missing school or tardy all the time. And I was that guy that would call their parents and be like, yo, your student didn't come in today, your kid is late for these classes. And then when I would see them in school, they would be like, why'd you call my mom, mister? Like, what are you doing? Now I'm being in trouble. So I did that for 3 years. And then after that, I went into the maintenance department. And then from there up until like 2020, 2021 is when I was just in the maintenance department.
10 years in the school district, that's quite a bit of time. Like, I mean, obviously you said that you were miserable, but like, I mean, as far as your transitions, like through these things, like, I guess, how did you make it through like that long working for the school district?
When I got into the maintenance department, I was working at a school. I was working at West High School at the time. And I was working night shift. I was working night shift, but then the crew there is what made it fun. Like, everybody that I was working with, like, it was cool. Like, I was learning a lot from them. And then the supervisor there, like, he was actually like a family friend. And he would actually just teach me stuff like that. And then from there, I just tried to learn as much as I can, take like classes to promote up. And then from every school that I went to, like, everybody that I worked with was great. So I think that's one reason why I stayed so long. Up until like the last 2 years that I was at the highest level you could get from promotion. And I was just at that point where I was just like, all right, is this it? Like, it's like, is there anything?
Milestones?
I was like, is this
where it stops? Take your parents' trip. Did you go to college after high school?
I did.
Okay, you did.
Yeah, I did for 3 years. And then I was only going to college for my mom, honestly. I wasn't going to go for me. I was only going for my mom. And then through that whole 3 years, I was only going part-time because I had to work full-time too. Because I didn't qualify for any scholarship, financial aid, and nothing like that. So I was paying out of pocket everything.
It's expensive too.
Yeah, it was expensive. But the school that I was going to was a CCD. So it saved me some money. But throughout that time, like, I just did not like it. I hated it.
What were you studying when you were going there?
So I was doing some like business management stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of people are going into business. And would you say you kind of benefited from some of those classes and courses that you took, or is it more, or have you learned more doing it, like just jumping and starting an LLC and I don't know.
Is there any relation between the two? Because I'm curious about this because a lot of people, like you said, go in and they get their business and management degree, and then they end up becoming entrepreneurs or whatever. Is there any correlation? Like, is there anything inside school that helped you do what you're doing now?
Absolutely nothing. I don't even.
That was by assumption.
Yeah, no, that was like
over here.
2011, 2014. That's when I was like going to school and stuff, and I just. I didn't learn nothing that I use now currently. I've learned more through like hands-on and through YouTube, pretty much.
And YouTube.
Yeah.
I can say the exact same thing. Like my entire high school, I mean, I sucked at school anyways, and it was not a good trip for me anyway, which is why I didn't go to college or anything like that. But it was just simply after high school, like, because then things become interesting. It's like, okay, this is applicable. Like I can actually use this, and like you remember things and stuff like that because you're actually going out to find it yourself. But 90%, almost 99% of what I know now is not related to school.
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed in entrepreneurship, maybe it's personal, but when you're doing something or when you're going to school and you're going for business management, you have to go through like courses and years of studying this subject.
Yes.
And it's like one day I hope that I can make $100,000. Maybe that's the goal. But you're like banking on the fact that you're getting in debt this whole time, you're learning, you're getting unmotivated. You're not making any money unless you're like out doing like, side jobs or whatever. Yeah. But when you're actually doing it and you're learning by mistake, but you're making the money and you see the actual potential, like you look at your QuickBooks account or whatever you're using to keep track of your numbers and you're like, damn, I'm actually making the money that I could have made, with school. It's crazy to me. I don't know. Is that something that you guys think you kind of experienced?
Oh, no. What I was going to say, I've talked with this about, that subject particularly with a lot of people because you meet so many people that go to school and, guys have their engineering degrees and now they work at Coors, and they, they make, 6 figures a year, but they're not using an ounce of their degree. I think school in and of itself, my opinion, 15 years ago, sure. Before that, sure. Would have worked fantastic. But now it's just so oversaturated and so overpriced that like, even if you do end up using your degree, no job is going to pay you enough to actually pay that debt off in a reasonable amount of time. And that's, the exception of lawyers and engineers that end up using your degree and stuff like that. And just how the trade fields are open. So it's something, like I said, I've talked with multiple people about, but it's
definitely.
To change the subject a little bit, I guess I want to hear from you. What is a few of the things that you've been through in the past that really you struggled with as far as like becoming who you are now? Like, was there any point in time in your life? I know there's many different stories in entrepreneurship, and usually there's like a background behind, maybe you let go of the job because you were depressed or things like that. Like, who knows? Like, what did you experience that made you transform that mindset of hitting that, limit with your job and then moving on? And
like the last couple years, I was like depressed and like felt like I hated going to work. It was being a disappointment to my mom, honestly, because she would always tell us like, go to school, go to college, get a house, all this and that. And if I didn't follow that pathway, I feel like I would just pretty much be a disappointment to her. But until like I just would talk to myself and be like, this ain't the way I want to live. Like there's so much life out there that I have to like figure out on how to make stuff happen. And like the last day, like I sent my email saying like, hey, I'm resigning from this position and I'm willing to train anybody if you guys have them, but this will be my last day. I remember when I sent that out, it was like a relief, like a breath of fresh air when I said that. But I was afraid after that because all right, what the heck am I going to do now? So when that happened,
you didn't have any transition period. So when you sent out that letter, you had no idea so you hadn't even thought about entrepreneurship or anything like that at that point. Wow.
Yeah.
It's quite the leap.
So once I sent that out, because I knew when I was working full time, like I would have like my little side gigs in the afternoon, evenings, and then the weekends I would have little photo shoots here and there. But once I sent that email, I was like, I don't have enough clientele to sustain my life that I'm living right now. So it was scary at first, but I obviously applied to other positions like with the city and stuff like that, see if I get it. But once I would like get those interviews, something in my head was like, I hope I don't get it. I hope I don't get this position, because if I do, then I'm gonna be like working 9 to 5, and I'm gonna just not be able to do what I really want to do, which is.
You think you would have taken it if like, because I mean we haven't gotten that far in the story yet, but you think like if you got one of those positions, you would have taken it and then gone back to what you were doing?
I don't think I would have, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, because I felt like something in me was like, you went and applied, but like if they offer you the position, don't take it. This is not what you want to do, and I don't want myself to be going on through life being miserable.
So it's essentially like a fear of yours of like being, I wouldn't say average, because I think some people thrive on structure, and we've talked about structure before, but some people thrive on just going to work, getting their tasks done, and then clocking out, and separate personal life to work life. With business, though, it's one of those things where you're working all the time.
During that transition over to like what I'm doing now, I was just messaging all kinds of local businesses in my area and say, hey, do you guys need photos? You got any videos? Like, this is what I offer. Like, this is what I do. If you guys need social media content, let me know. I'm willing to do it. And then it was just dry after that. Like, I didn't get no responses, or a couple of them said, oh, sorry, we already have an in-house photographer. Like, thank you, though. We'll keep you in mind for anything in the future. So, but after that, a week later, I was booked every day after that.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
There was no point or whatever. Like, I mean, it was a pretty short time frame when you started getting that, but there was no point where it was like, throwing the towel.
Yeah.
She quit or anything like that?
Nah, never.
Awesome.
Trying to reach out to as many people as I can, then just like a bunch of like my friends, like family. I was like, hey, if you know anybody like looking for content, like let me know. And then at that time, I knew real estate would be the best way to keep myself booked and keep myself doing something every day. And I got in contact with one of my friends that he was already big in real estate. And then I just hit him up, and I was just like, hey, bro, like if you ever need like behind the scenes, or if you need help on any of your shoots, let me know. And he reached back out, and he was like, let me bring you on a couple shoots, and then we'll see how it goes from there. And then after that, I was just with him for like a good year. I would go to like every shoot with him if he needed me.
Yeah.
And then during that time, I would also build my clientele, because I would have already a built portfolio of like all my work that I've done, that slowly I would build my clientele to what it is now. And I'm still getting people like messaging me and like, hey, if you got a space for us, or we have a listing coming up, like, can you shoot it and stuff like that. So during that time, I was just building my reputation on Instagram. And that's pretty much where I've gotten a lot of my work, is through Instagram.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have good content on there.
Thank you.
It's really catered to real estate, and you've really focused on that niche, which is good, because you can't, in my opinion, I don't know, you have to focus on the one thing that's making you the money, which is real estate. Do you see yourself kind of getting more involved with other different areas? Are you trying to pursue other industries, or is it just still real estate?
Right now I'm keeping real estate because like I would love to shoot like a $3 million house. Like I've shot a couple of those, and those houses are amazing. Like if I stayed in the pathway that I was told, I would never see $1 million house in my life. But now, like doing this, like I see a couple of them like every month or so.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
Yeah. So, and I've seen some crazy houses here in Colorado. Like even in Vail, Breckenridge, like there's some crazy houses.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So where all the rich people run and hide.
Do you get to like meet the people who are going in and buying these houses and stuff like that, or is it mainly you're just filming the content, for the real estate agent, getting them out there. Okay.
Mostly it's just for the real estate agent, but like if the house is being sold, sometimes the owner is there, and sometimes it's always just like some elderly person with like a Lamborghini or like an old school 93 Mustang or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never really meet too many people. It's always just like through the real estate agents, and sometimes I'm even there by myself. So that's when I get content of myself. Yeah, to just like get content.
Does that motivate you to push this thing to grow?
Yes,
to get a house of your own.
Definitely. Because I've already like written some down. I'm gonna have this in my house. I'm gonna have this in my house. Like it's cool. It's definitely cool to see myself in those homes and knowing that one day I'm gonna have this.
It's attainable, and you have to be open. You have to work hard, but also have an open mind to say, "I'm able to." Like, if they were able to do it, they're just as equally human as I am.
Yeah,
I'm like a lot of people don't grasp that around their minds. I don't think I think with the society nowadays, and you can kind of touch on that. Do you think you see a lot of videographers and photographers kind of stick to like being average and not try to stand out, or do you think everybody just does their own thing as far as like being unique and building value? I know there's there might be a lot of videographers that might want to take some tips from you as far as like how to be unique in your, industry essentially.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, I don't know too many videographers here. I have like 2 or 3 friends that are videographers and photographers, but they stick to like their niche and stuff like that. And that's one thing I don't want to set myself in. I don't want to stay in one industry.
Yeah.
Like I want to go into everything. But my like final goal and like where I feel like I want to do for the rest of my life is shoot sports. Like one day I want to shoot the Nuggets. That's like my biggest thing. I want to shoot with the Nuggets. Dang. I want to shoot all their content. I want to do all their road trips. Like I follow a couple of their content creators.
Yeah.
And they're not huge. They don't have a big following on Instagram, but their content is amazing. Like what they shoot for the Denver Nuggets, they got content of being in the locker room when they won the championship, and I was like, bro, I gotta be there.
Could have been me.
Yeah. I was like, dang. Like one day I'm gonna hit that.
How do you think how do you think you would get your foot in the door or something like that? Because I mean, you're talking about professional athletes, people that are making millions. Like, first of all, you would make a lot of money off of them, and a lot of I guess a lot of eyes would see your content. So how do you kind of approach strategically to get into that area?
So right now I am working on my portfolio on shooting just more like sports. Like right now I have a cousin, he is already a pro boxer. So I'm starting to shoot a lot of his content. And then again, like working with personal trainers.
Yeah.
And I know I've gotten a few people reached out to me through the content that they posted, and they've tagged me where like trainers that train athletes are looking for content. So I think just working on just building my fitness content would probably get me into the door and like open some doors working with like, hey, like I have a private training session with Nikola Jokic. Like, I want you to come make some content. I'm like, I'm there. Like, let's go.
I'd be like, I'll come help you, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be like, please let me come help. I'll be the water boy for you. Just keep recording.
That'll open up a broad field for you if you keep doing that and going down that road with all of these trainers and athletes. Because I mean that could lead you into so many different areas as far as just the people that you're gonna meet. And the content that you're going to get, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Like I said, that girl that Lux Events, that she does a lot of like the Broncos players and stuff. Like I shot a birthday for Justin Simmons, which is a Bronco player. His videographer shows up before he does, and I meet him. And I'm like, hey, bro, like, what's up? I'm the videographer. I'm just shooting some content of like the decorations and stuff. And he's like, all right, sweet, dope. And then we exchanged contacts. I sent him like the video, or like I tagged him and like, hey bro, like check it out. This is what I got. He's like, yo, this is dope. Like we might have like a training camp in Vegas. I'm gonna have you come with me with the Broncos. I'm like, bro, cool. I'm like, yo, that would be sick. Like I'm down. Like let's go.
Do you have a time frame as far as like what you want? I mean, for our sake, because you're our videographer.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're gonna leave us?
No, go do that. It is exciting.
Yeah.
But do you have like a time frame of like when you want all of this to happen, and like You talked before about like, you have like goal boards and things like that. Do you have like, goal boards and time frames of when you want to have all of this accomplished and where you want to be?
I don't really set a time frame on that kind of stuff, because if I do, I would probably stress out and be like, all right, by this time I don't have this going on. Like, I'm slacking. And then I'll probably be discouraging myself on meeting those time frames. So,
and it's hard to do that, especially when you're in a social media world, because like it's completely dependent upon like the views and like, the people that are seeing your stuff. You don't know what, that's just as big of a gamble as, slot machines, sometimes. So maybe not that bad.
Gambling it, just hoping it all works out.
Yeah, but you don't know when, what people are going to view, but that's,
It would be stressful to kind of set those goals and those expectations. And then let's say you're like, I'm going to have $1 million home by 2027.
Yeah.
And you get to 2027, you might have 2 properties, but not $1 million home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think would be like not unmotivating, but it's like what you start questioning what you did wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on what you did right.
Yeah.
So I guess with that being said, like, you're currently engaged now too, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Was
Thank
that
you.
recent?
Congratulations.
That was recent. That was Thanksgiving week is when I proposed. So
how was that?
Yeah.
Like, tell us a little bit about that. How did you meet your now fiance?
Yeah.
And
So I met her when I was working with the school district. So she was at one of the buildings that I was working at, and I met her, and then we just let me read, because when I met her, like, we were just friends, and she had a boyfriend at the time. So she was kind of like, don't even talk to me. So, but we kept it cool. We kept it cordial, and like work, I would just go see her, say what's up. And like, I was there at that school for, I think, 2.5 years. And then I got promoted up to like my own building. Like, I was running my own elementary school. And after that, like, we just kept in contact through social media. And then COVID hit. So she wasn't in the buildings. I was technically an essential worker, so I was still having to go to work. But I was the only one in the building, so I was literally just chilling the whole time. Whole time. Yeah, so just me and her, we just kept in contact through Instagram and just started messaging each other. I think she was the one that posted like a sandwich that had like the basic sandwich with like the ham, lettuce, and then hot Cheetos. And then I replied to that, and I'm like, that's like the best sandwich in the world. And then from there, she replied back. And then from that moment on, like, we just kept going back and forth. And then I was like, during COVID, I was just like, yo, let's just me and you, like, I'm not talking to anybody else. Like, let's just hang out, do something. That's when the restrictions were a lot less. Like, they let people go out and do stuff. There was this an event going on for Dia de los Muertos, and I invited her. I was like, let's go. And that was like, we didn't say it at the time, but that was like our first like official date. Type of thing. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So,
especially during COVID, like, I don't know how it was for you guys, but it was tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you found your everlasting love.
My fiance.
That's awesome.
But so after that, we just literally talked every single day. And then one summer came where, because she's originally from Chicago, so she's not from here. She's been here now. She's about to hit 7 years. But one summer, I think 2021 is when, like, hey, like, I'm going to go back to Chicago. Do you want to come with me? Like, and meet my family. I was like, we weren't even like official, like, boyfriend and girlfriend at that time. So I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, let's just go. We'll tell everybody, like, you're my friend. I was like, all right, let's go. And she didn't tell me that we were going to drive there. Oh. I hate road trips. And it was like a 16-hour drive. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So, but nah.
So who made the first move in the relationship to take it to the next level?
I think I did. She'll probably say she did, but I think I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So leading to that, I know, a spouse is a major role as far as like your capabilities in business, your capabilities as, if you guys are going to have kids and things like that. What kind of role does she play now in your current life as far as like entrepreneurship? Because I know, for me personally, with my wife, it's like I'm always working, right? So I have to find time and a place to make sure I clock out and I'm present. So I guess we'll rewind to what role does she play in your current life?
So right now, she is like my biggest supporter. Like I would not have done a couple of things that I've done so far if it wasn't because of her support. Like I would talk to her about like, hey, this like opportunity came up. Like, do you think I should go for it? And she would always be like, yes, do it. Like, go do it. Like, they don't know you. Like, your stuff is amazing. Like, just do it. Like, I know if it wasn't for her, I would have pretty much held back on a lot of things that came up for opportunities for me. And yeah, she's like my biggest supporter, and I love her for it. And she's like my best friend, and I talk to her about everything.
Yeah,
that's but awesome. Like even at home, like I'm always editing. Like I'm always editing. She was like, she even tells me now, she's like, do I have to go book on your site to get some time with you? I was like, yeah, I'll send you the link. So, but awesome. Now she tells me here and there, she's like, do you have a video to edit today? Are you done editing today? Like, can we hang out, just watch a movie or something? Yeah. And then that's when I'll be like, all right, yeah. Let me just finish this up, and then.
Does she have an interest in like what you do, or do you guys like have kind of separate career paths and goals as far as what you guys want to accomplish in life?
No, she's actually a creative herself. Like she's an artist. So she like paints on walls. Like she painted our kitchen wall at home, and it's
like murals awesome. Type thing.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's what she wants to do, and right now she's like.
Could promote her content.
That's what I'm saying. So I actually filmed like a couple of her videos or her walls that she did. Her most recent one that she did was for a girl that does lashes, and she has her own office. So she painted like a wall with like her logo on it. And I went to go get footage of that, but then I told her like, hey, if you want this, like you have to edit it, so you understand like what I'm going through.
There you go.
And she did though, but she has done like some small snippet videos where I'm like, this is great. Like, this is awesome. But then she's like, it's so much editing. Like, there's so much time. I was like, now you know. But other than that, like, she's huge on like creativity. She loves like painting. Our house is filled with like paint and canvases everywhere. So
is she a full-time artist, or does she have like a day job?
No, she still works at the schools where I met her.
Okay, she still works at the school.
Yeah, she's still there. But right now she's like, she's reaching that point that I did where like, I think it's time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Both of you being artistic, I'm sure that's,
Yeah.
Would you say the school system like offers very good structure? I know what kept you there the longest was the team that you were working with. But like, does the school offer you like the incentives to want to be there, or is it just kind of like, use you and abuse you?
Yeah, back then, like because of who I was surrounded with and who I was learning from and getting coached from, is what I felt like kept me there the most. But now, like my last couple years there, it was like they pretty much use you, pretty much, and then they don't. Offer you the resources that you need to like do your job. And luckily at that time when I was there, I had a supervisor that had my back. And I was like, hey bro, like I need this, and this. He's like, I got you, Alvi. Like I'll make sure that you have that equipment to make sure you do your job. And that's pretty much who I followed throughout like my whole 10 years, is because I started with him at West. He was actually the one that was my supervisor when I first started. And then he got into like being an area manager, which took care of like 20 different schools. Yeah. And I would answer to him, and I would wherever he would go, like I would make sure like I'm at one of his like schools that he would like look down on. So, but now like talking to my fiance, she was like, they don't help at all. Like,
do you say it was a big piece of your life to have like his mentorship as far as like, getting you through all of that? Like, were there like certain things that you learned from him and stuff that you've like applied to your own field today?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like even back then when I was first started with him, he would always tell me like, I laugh now because he would tell me like being in that maintenance like department, he was like, damn, Alvy, I'm about to turn you into a husband. Everything we're doing. So, but now like I'm literally doing husband duties pretty much throughout the house. So
it helps.
I definitely take that.
Yeah, it helps those people to have that mentorship in your life as far as putting you in the next step outside of friends and family. other person to teach you. I've had several different mentors in my life. They've helped me. Even Edgar, I would consider him, a mentor. So it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Who out of your parents, like, do you go to them for advice? And I know you mentioned your mom a couple times, and that she's the reason you're doing all this, or one of the reasons why you did certain things that you did. Do you still rely on their affirmation to do certain things, or is it more separated now that you're living your own life and you're about to get married and all that stuff?
Yeah, I honestly don't even like talk to her about anything that I'm doing anymore, because like growing up, she would always just like shut me down, pretty much. Like anything that I wanted to do in my life, like she would just be like, no, don't do that. Like, what are you doing? Like, just focus on school, focus on getting a good job, stuff like that. And then that's why I would not talk to her about anything that I wanted to do. Like, there was this one time after high school, which of course I got a job, but then there was stuff that I still had time throughout the day to do what I wanted. And then I got into dance. Like through middle school, through high school, like I loved dance. Like that's when America's Best Dance Group came out. I was a big fan of the Jabberwockies, and then Stomp the Yard, You Got Served. Those movies came out. I was a huge dance guy. And then after high school, I didn't have basketball anymore. I was looking for a dance studio. I was like, I'm going to just spend this time learning how to dance. And then I would tell her that, and she was like, for what? Like, why are you going to do that? I was like, because I want to learn. And like through that time, like she would always just like here and there shut me down. But she would come to like a couple of shows that I have, but I've never felt that genuine like support. Like, all right, you should keep doing this.
Do you think, does she support you in what you're doing right now? You said you don't really talk about it, but is she still like, is she kind of just, mom things? You don't share any of this stuff with her?
Nah, now she supports me. Okay. Now she like sees it. Now she sees like, all right, he's not going to do what I want him to do, so I'm going to just let him do his own thing.
My parents got to a similar place with me and my brothers when they realized, by the time my parents got to me, because I'm second to youngest, they were like, whatever, just do what you're going to do. But they tried to have that grip on my older siblings and everything, as far as like, lead them in the right direction and go this way and go that way. Yeah. But I've talked to my mom about this, and she says, you're not, they got to the point where it's like, you're not going to control your kids. You're not going to, you're not going to have a dictation on their future. They're going to choose what they want to do. And a lot of times that decision is better than what you would have for them to do anyway. And I completely agree with that. I mean, definitely the advice that they've given me growing up and where I came, like, where I stand, they let me do my own thing, and here we are. And so, is your dad still a part? Like, where does he sit in all of this?
I actually don't know my biological father, so that I grew up with a male figure in the house, but he wasn't my biological dad. But like, I literally don't know. Like, even though he was in the house, I didn't really learn much from him. Yeah, and it's weird because he is the biological father of my 3 younger brothers. And out of us 5, I'm the only one that doesn't know their dad. Like my oldest brother, he knows his dad. My 3 youngest brothers, they know their dad. But me, I don't even know who he was, or I've heard stories, but why he left. But I still.
So all of you and your brothers kind of, so you guys all kind of have separate fathers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Besides the 3 youngest ones, they have the same dad.
Gotcha. So. Is the father like any of the other ones? Did he ever did any of them step in or help you out or anything like that?
Not really, no, because my oldest brother, his dad wasn't really like, him and my mom weren't together at all. So I was still a baby, but like my brother, he would go and stay with his dad when I was younger, but then he would always come back and stay with us. So I literally don't know or don't have a relationship with him. And then my little brothers, growing up, like, again, like he was in the house, so like we would just have conversation, and I would spend time with his family because his family was from Texas. So growing up, we would always go every summer to Texas and stuff like that. But as soon as I got to like the age where like I didn't want to go anymore, like I just stopped going over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up very similar. All my siblings that I have now, they're from a different dad. So I never saw him as a father figure.
Yeah.
Because I knew he wasn't my dad. I was told he wasn't my dad. So it's like, why? How do you give that person that respect as someone to discipline you? Instead, you try to almost like challenge that person, like in a way. That was what it was like for me. So does it affect you? Did it affect you in any way growing up, not knowing why he wasn't there?
I think it didn't really. Well, that's a lie. I think it did affect me because like my friends now, they all have their dad, and like a couple of my cousins, they know their own dad. But then like growing up, like even now, like I get sometimes emotional watching movies of like a father and son doing stuff together, and I was like, damn, I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that is like, and sometimes it would just hit me, and I'm just like, damn, we'll see what happens. But like that is one reason why I can't wait to have kids of my own. Yeah. Because I want to be that dad that I never had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy thought, huh? Like, yeah. I don't know. It's just it's insane the fact that we've talked about dads many times throughout different episodes in this podcast, and it seems like only the world is in need of actual male figures of like, as far as like, households need a father, need a leader, businesses need a leader, which is always a man. And I'm not downgrading women at all. I'm just saying like men do play a big role. Yeah. And it's crazy to see that there's certain men in certain men's lives that they never impacted him, but you became who you are without a father. So
it's motivating to you to actually become a father, like having that role absent has pointed out like a big hole where it's like, I need to be this for my kids. Yeah.
Yeah. But with that being said, we have a couple of questions from a few people that you posted on your story. So I'm going to pull those up really quick so we can get a little bit more going. But I have one question for you. And it says, how did you get into creating videos? And also, what continues to drive you on your journey?
I think I touched on this, but it was during high school when I was getting all the footage from the basketball team. That is when I got into like doing videos. And that's when I found like, this is pretty cool. Like I'm going to keep doing this. I taught myself pretty much. I didn't go to school for it. So I'm self-taught. I learned everything through YouTube. And then why I continue to do it is because the opportunities that I will get. Like I know that I'm going to get some big stuff coming my way, and I ain't going to stop. So I'm going to make things happen, especially this year. Like I've already have like some big high paying clients that have reached out to me. So I'm like, all right, this is my time to shine. Like, let's do it. Yeah. Like I'm excited.
Yeah.
So,
and it's motivating because not only is it going to keep you busy, but do you see yourself growing your business and hiring people and hiring editors? I don't know what different roles there are in your industry, but do you like see that in the near future, bringing more people on your team?
I do actually. I do want to grow my team for sure. I think right now, like I'm still like establishing like a good like foundation for what I want my business to be and what I want it to be. Especially like bringing on people. Like I don't want to bring on people that are just like money hungry. Yeah. Like I want to bring people on that are actually interested, that want to learn, and that are willing to take my teachings. I definitely want to grow that. But right now I do have an editor for my photos for real estate. So because real estate photo editing takes forever. Yeah. And I usually have like 2 or 3 shoots a day. So I send all those photos to my editor and they get them done. That's how I'm able to offer like next day delivery for photos.
Because you're doing, what is it, like 3D live tours now too?
Yeah,
what I saw.
I am. Yep. I just now offered that like a 3D video render. It's kind of like there's a floor plan, but then there's like a 3D video. It's pretty much like a ride. You're like on the roller coaster and you just go through the home. It's nice and slow. You just go through the home, and it's pretty much the whole thing is like just a render. Like it looks fake, but it's the actual home. Yeah. So that's now what I'm offering up, instead of just like doing just like a whole highlight video. Like if you guys don't want to pay for this, like I also have this alternative that you guys could go for if you guys are interested. So.
Yeah. Is that the one where you like when you're looking at apartment complexes and you go into their website and then you could do a virtual tour and then you have to click the screen and then it like moves you.
Yeah, that's different. So the thing that I'm offering now is just like a whole video where you just hit play and it'll go out through the whole house.
Oh, I see.
All the floors and stuff like that. That what you speak of is called Matterport, where they can just like click through the, all right, this is the bedroom. They'll click into the bedroom and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
because I've done a couple tours like that. It's convenient when you're looking at new places. You're like,
definitely.
Where's the bathroom? You know, all that stuff. Yeah,
that's another thing too. Like right now, I'm in the market to buy, so I'm hella judging all these photos that I see. I'm like, why would you post this? Like, why would this be on the internet for people to see? And it's just like,
I could do that better.
So my question is, how many of your realtors are going to be mad when they find out you didn't use them?
I don't even know.
And how do you even pick one?
Well, family first. So I have my cousin. She's doing the buying side. And then my friend is actually the one that's listing our place now. So
gotcha. I
was like, because he actually came to me and he just started in real estate. So he's like, hey, bro, like, let me do your whole buying process. And I was like, actually, I'll have you list it. But we're going to go with my cousin to buy. So he's like, all right, cool. No, that's fine. So I guess it just starts from there. But then, like, building the relationships with all these realtors that I know, it's hard to pick. Yeah. Because you see all these realtors, you see the numbers that they're doing and the houses that they're selling and having their clients buy. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. But
I've seen a big jump in people that join real estate. It's like never ending.
Everybody's a top 5 realtor in Denver.
And it's crazy with the numbers of a house. Like if you're wanting to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, what you're looking at $550,000, $600,000.
It's insane. Like
bizarre.
Like a mortgage payment of like $3,500. I'm like, who can pay this? Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I guess we'll jump into the next question, which was, let me scroll through. Okay, here we go. So this one is, what was the turning point moment in your life when you wanted entrepreneurship?
I guess the turning point is when I was waking up 4 a.m, Monday through Friday, and was like, just did not want to go to work. I was like, I cannot keep going like this, waking up. I gotta go to work. I gotta go do this, especially now with the snow. Like I remember waking up literally at 3 a.m. to go to the school to shovel, make sure all the entryways, all the walkways were clear of snow for everybody to come in. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. Now I wake up and there's snow on the ground. And I was like, I did my time. Like, I ain't no way I'll go to
somebody else now.
Yeah. So I think that time was just like waking up and being miserable. And then that's when me and Adriana, my fiance, like I would talk to her. Like me and her were together and I was still working. Yeah. And I would talk to her about it. Like, hey, like I don't want to do this anymore.
How much like of a causal role did she have in like, you know, did she push you to like move on, get out of this? Because she works in the school industry too. Was she a big factor in like saying you need to go do something, or was she kind of like in the middle?
Kind of like in the middle, because I told her like, hey, I don't want to do this no more, and I think I'm gonna just quit. But she supported that. She was like, okay, no, I know you will find something else. So if you don't like it, you're not happy, like, then don't go anymore. Yeah. So I think that's what helped for sure. Because if she would have told me like, no, you have to stay, like, what are you gonna do? I think that would have been like, all right. Yeah. I think I would have still been there. Yeah. Miserable. Yeah.
So based going off of that question, what is one thing if somebody that's looking at starting their own videography or their own photography business, like what is one thing that you, besides like quitting your job and just going and doing it, what is something that you can look back and say that is something that I would have taken earlier in the time when I started it?
If you want to get into like video editing, photography, build that clientele while still working. Because if you don't have that clientele, and then you're just going to be like, all right, I'm done, I quit. Especially now, because a video could go viral and you could all of a sudden be going crazy. But then that is going to slow down. And just one video, like there's thousands and thousands of videos being posted every day. So your video could be gone next week. So I say just be cautious, but build that clientele while you're still working. If you're still working a 9 to 5, keep reaching out to people, especially if there's like a industry that you want to reach. Because I've had some people come to me and be like, hey, how do I get into real estate? I was like, Go to open houses.
Yeah.
Like talk to the agents that are having the open house. Like just go there, get content for them, do it for free.
Yeah.
Just build that portfolio.
I've said that for the longest time. I think the biggest thing that you can take into like, you know, for starting a business is your network.
Yes.
It's like that is like the foundation of everything. Like if you don't have that, like even if you have a product and you have all of these things, if you don't have anything, if you don't have anybody to give it to or sell it to or nobody that's going to be interested, you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
You can't really do anything.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if like you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what they like you're just digging yourself in a hole right there, buddy.
Yeah.
How do you find your style in photography? I guess it's one of my questions. Now that we're talking about that kind of stuff, like how do you, if you're new to photography, how do you find exactly what kind of footage you're going to take? Or you just shoot and then pick the ones that you think look best?
Well, for right now, real estate, I still keep it the basic, traditional, the way I shoot is just keep it basic and traditional how videos have been doing for real estate for a long time. But once I am finished doing that, then I go in and I'm like, all right, this is how I would shoot this. And I would go from this corner or make sure I have this in the background, blur this out and stuff like that. I think, and it depends on the home too, because a different layout and if it's staged too, that makes a whole difference. Like if it's a vacant home with like nothing, no furniture, nothing, like it's pretty hard to create a dope video when the house is empty. But if it's like $1 million home and the house is empty, like you got so much to play with, like large windows, railing, like the kitchen, the primary bedroom, and then like, believe it or not, like some doors. It's like the main entry doors, like those are crazy. Like for $1 million homes, like a door, I've seen a door so big, like it was 10 foot tall. Jeez. Like it was crazy. And I was like, I took like 10 shots of just that one door because I didn't know how to shoot it. Like it was crazy. I didn't know how to shoot it. But like you got some basic ranch style homes where you just like keep it simple. Don't get too crazy with it. Just like keep it to a minimum of like what you like and just have fun with it for sure. Like if you do it just like get the shot, but you're not having fun, then you're not going to last long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's crazy that a door is such a like uncommon or not a very common thing to think about because when you're looking at a house, it's like, oh, that's an awesome door, but you're not like consciously thinking that's an awesome door. But it's maybe one of the things that you really love about that house.
Yeah. Which is I'm actually, I don't know, I might work on it this year, but I actually want to like publish a book of just like taking pictures of doors that I've seen. And just have like a whole book of just all the doors. Huh. Yeah, that's one thing I probably want to try to work on this year. But
I'm excited to see that. I'd like to see what kind of doors are on. It's sparking your attention. I want to see them.
That's funny.
No, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff out there for sure.
So there's another question. I didn't mention any of the names on those, but this one from Jasmine. How did you know it was time to take the leap into full-time entrepreneurship? So I think that's kind of going, and connecting kind of with the other ones.
Yeah. I think too, just like my potential of where I could go with this, like seeing like highlight videos of like commercials and stuff. Like, why can't I do that kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. Like, why am I not shooting commercials or working with like professional athletes? Mm-hmm. Like, why can't I do it? Like, I wouldn't find like a good reason of like, oh, you don't have the equipment. Like, I could make some basic dope video with some crappy equipment. So
yeah, that's a big question that I think a lot of people have to, like you touched on earlier. Most people don't realize that it's just normal people doing this stuff and everything. Like if you just take that into account, be like, I can do it too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's nothing special about them. It's like just taking that leap and moving forward in faith.
Yeah, it's all about mindset.
Yes, exactly what I was about to say. I think it's just that mindset switch of where like you put yourself in their shoes, like your whole like perspective changes on everything. Yeah. And that's how I've been doing lately. I've just been like, all right.
I think the mindset and then if you're competitive, you're going to want to do it. So like, for example, like we went to a conference for, in our industry, there's like a conference that we went to. And one of the things that happened there was you see these people on social media, you see how big they are in the industry, but then you see them face to face, and it's like, these dudes are just as human as I am. Like they're just the fact that they're putting themselves out there, they have the mindset to do it. That's what like switched to me. So when we got back, I was like, we're starting this podcast. We're not waiting anymore. I'm like, these people are doing what they're doing without even thinking about what others are doing. But maybe their competitive drive is what drives them to do it. So that really motivated me. And I was like, I don't care what we are doing this year, but we're literally starting this podcast no matter what. If it's the last thing we do this year, and we did it literally shot you a text and I was like, hey, dude, can we do a podcast next week? We had no setup. We had nothing. But it was the mindset and the competitiveness.
Yes.
So is that something in your industry where you're like competing essentially with other people? Like, do you compete with yourself? Like, how do you keep yourself consistent and motivated?
Yeah. I think just a bunch of like the creators that I follow have seen their stuff and like how dope they like the videos that they drop. Like the videos that they drop, and I picture myself like, all right, how did they get that? Like, how did they get that type of shot? Like, that's what motivates me to like, all right, I'm gonna try this on my next shoot, see if I could get it. But then also like for some people, even just starting out, like they see that and then they're gonna be discouraged. Like, I can't make a video like that. Like what? Like, I'm not even gonna try. But I think that's what pushes me more, and just like, all right, I'm gonna level up on my next video and see what happens. And then just seeing, just like even those creators just like post tutorials and be like, hey guys, this is how I shot this video, or this is how I color graded, this is how I edited this video. Like that's very encouraging and helps a lot of people just like watching. Even if people that just want to get into it but they don't know where to start, just seeing that, just knowing that they have those videos to go back and look at, like it definitely helps a lot. So that's what keeps me motivated, just like seeing my videos now to what they're going to be by the end of the year.
Yeah. Seems like it's always a non-stop learning curve for you.
Yeah.
And every house is different. Every customer is different. I don't know if you're working with different customers all the time, but I'm sure you're always having to adapt to you. And then you're by yourself, so you're working by yourself. You're working your hours, and I feel like it would be tough. Like if this business if I started by myself, I feel like I would have struggled mentally, not knowing that. Not that I couldn't do it alone, but I can't imagine like the mental shift you have to be like, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't care. I'm focusing on me, and I'm gonna get to where I need to get.
Is there a lot of thinking about this a little bit? Is your industry very competitive? Because if it is competitive, it's probably in a different way than I would say ours is. Because when we go up to bid a project or something like that, it's like head-to-head competitive with other people to bid for somebody's business. Is there a lot of competition, or is everybody just kind of free range, get your own clientele?
I think it depends on the person. Because like there's some people that be like that will literally stalk you and be a hater, and like I actually had one person. Not from them, but the agent that they were working with, that agent told me like, hey, this person reached out to me and said like, why am I not working with them anymore and all this and that. I was like, who? I'm not going to say the name. I ain't going to call them out like that. But it does like tell me like there's people like watching my stuff.
There's just like social media sabotage.
Yeah. They're trying to just be haters. But there's like some people that actually like encourage you and like, yo, man, that was dope. Like that was sick. Like you're killing it right now.
Yeah.
Like I know I have like a couple friends that follow me, and they always hype me up. I always hype them up on their videos. Like, yo, bro, that transition was crazy. Yeah. Like that was sick.
Yeah.
So
some people are very salty.
Yeah. I think it just depends on the person. Like if you're in there to just like bring people down, like people are gonna see that, they're gonna feed off that energy, and they're like, nah, we don't want to work with you no more. So that's why I try to keep it just positive and just be like, just help anybody that's asking for help.
Yeah.
So that's why I posted a video on my TikTok literally talking about my setup on what I use to shoot real estate. Yeah. And I've had people like message me. They're like, yo, like this is dope. Like, should I get this lens or should I get this flash? What do you think of this tripod? And I would tell them, like, I wouldn't gatekeep. I would tell them like, hey, bro, like this is the tripod I have. But like, if this does this, if you're able to do this with that tripod, then hell yeah. Go for it for sure. So
I think it's cool to be able to share your successes with other people, and people see that you're genuine. You not only care about your customers, but you care about lifting others up, which speaks character, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
and you're showing that. If you're sharing knowledge, if you're sharing things you've learned and the things that you use and the things that they can use, and you're still expanding on it and responding, you're taking the time of the day.
Yeah.
I think what goes around comes around. And,
Exactly.
and it comes back around in blessings, and meaning that your business is going to grow, your mentality is going to continue to be the same, and you're not going to be greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Especially like being in like the creative space, there's everybody could eat. There's work for everybody. There's so many people out there, and there's so many, like, especially in the real estate, if you're trying to do like real estate, like media, there are so many real estate agents out there that you could literally go to each one and work with. There's so many, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the difference between scarcity mentality and abundance mentality, like we were talking about, it all comes down to mindset. And when I first started sales, I definitely had the scarcity mentality of like, is there going to be enough work? Like, you know, when we were out, you know, door knocking and stuff like that, if people, you know, if like, you know, there was two perspectives. And when I was still learning and growing, it was your perspective where you were like, you know, you'd see those door knockers and you're like, sweet, there's work. Let's go get in there. It's like, well, and then, you know, when I was first in it, I was like, well, they're going to take all the work and then there's not going to be enough for me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until that mind shift changed to where it's like, no, there's more than enough. And not only that, but I'm better than these guys in the quality and the, you know, what I'm going to put out and stuff like that. And the work that I'm going to offer is better and stuff like that. And that's the game changer.
Do you ever get motivated by for me, it's like the mama mentality was something big that I like. I'm like, if these people can work that hard, like, do you look at some of these like athletes, like Kobe Bryant, you know, even though he's no longer with us, but like there was so much in sports that you're like, sometimes in the mornings I just hype myself up and I listen to something from a clip of some sort, and I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to go.
No, yeah, definitely. Especially like those motivational videos of like people working out and they have that quote in the background. Like, that gets me hype for sure. And then like another thing with like being the media industry, like I've had a couple clients come to me like, hey, we're also talking to like other 2 videographers. We'll let you know. And then I don't take that as like, damn, they're not going to choose me. I take that I was like, all right, we'll see. We'll see who gets it. Yeah. And then once they do choose me, I was like, all right, I'm going to give you something that you won't regret.
Yeah.
And it's usually like that all the time where like I'm also talking to us. And it's also varies on pricing too. Like, I don't know. If you value content, like the pricing will back itself up once you get that return on investment. Like, so it's just working with the clients too that value content and value the work. So
I think with content, you have to, in my opinion, it's like we're making I feel like it's a big investment, you know, in what we're doing with the podcast. And I think for me personally, I don't know, maybe different for him, but for me personally, it's not even about the dollar sign. It's about hoping and trying to use people's stories, because we are not focused on what we have or anything. We want to focus on what other people bring to the table in every industry. And it's the value. It's like the purpose and like the inspiring and encouraging others to be able to want to pursue that dream and that goal. And when you like step out of your own selfishness and you share other people's stories, I think there's so much abundance behind that. And that's why I feel like that's why we partnered to do this. And I could see you are excited about doing this podcast sometimes as well. You're like, yeah, let's go. And it motivates me because it's like we're essentially now a team. Trying to create something, and you're in the back, you know, recording everything, but you're still like a part of it, which is, to me, it's very cool to see it. And it's very cool to see your content come to life. And every time you send me a new clip and things like that, I'm like, damn, this guy kills it. Because you put intention into it. It takes you, I mean, the last clip you sent me, it was very intentional because you had to find the right clip. It's not like you just went in and you're just like, oh, just pick the first intro and I'm going to make that the intro and whatever. But you actually went and found something that was of value. And that what means a lot to us as your customers, because you're picking out the perfect clip out of an hour-long podcast. To capture that.
It takes forever to find that clip too.
What it means is you're watching the whole thing, essentially.
I watch it live and then I go back and watch it through my screen again. That's what I enjoy the most about that process. And just like going back into just like listening to people talk about their stories and like their upbringings, like it's motivating and it's inspiring. Like, damn, I captured this.
Yeah.
I got to listen to this live, and then I go back to just like make something out of it. Like,
yeah,
that's what keeps me going.
Yeah,
that's what's the final product. Especially like when you would tell me like, hey, I got a couple leads off of like the videos, like after we posted them and ran ads on it, and I was like, yes, my video, heck yeah. Like that's what keeps me going. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah,
like when people when clients tell me like, hey, I love this video. Their client loved the video. Like that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. I guess I don't even know how far we are into this, but I think
we don't have a videographer.
Videographer's right here. But one thing I guess, based off your niche and everything, I want to kind of focus a little bit on that. Is like what is one advice you can give realtors from your perspective if they're trying to create some content for themselves or they're trying to look for a content creator? What are maybe like some tips that you can give them as far as like figuring out how to, because content is king, they call it nowadays. Yeah. So what are some tips?
I'm ready for this one. I guess one tip right now that I could give real estate agents is stop listening to other real estate agents on content. Like they're not the content creators. Unless they have like a huge following, like off of the luck of a video going viral, and now they have this big following where now like their views have gone down. Like listen to the creator that does this for a living. Like, because I've talked to some clients, well, my agent Fred said, do it like this. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? So I would say just if you're depending on a videographer, photographer to capture a certain piece of content for you, listen to them. Listen to what they have to offer because they do this for a living. And they do this all the time. So depending on who you are and if you're willing to listen, I think just listen to the ideas that they have and just input your ideas and then see what just comes out of it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'd imagine, that's very important to people out there. Yeah, listen to the person who's actually producing the content, not the people that are, making the sale.
Because like I know I wouldn't go to a non-mechanic telling me what the heck's wrong with my car. I would actually go to a mechanic like, hey, bro, like, what's wrong with it?
Brake light fluid's going low.
So I guess it's just like that. So just listen to who you hire, and if you got faith in them, just trust that it's going to all work out.
That's good advice.
When it comes to pricing, I guess like for realtors, I guess it depends on where they're at with their career. But a lot of realtors that are starting in the business, they probably go on social media, they search real estate, they look at videos on there, and they try to recreate. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know how that works. Something I would do. If I was a realtor, I'd go online, I'd be like, I can do this on myself. I'd walk around with my iPhone trying to make that,
That's what you did for when we first started the company. He's like, nah, I got this.
Yeah, but then it's like, in your perspective, is it worth a real estate agent to invest X amount of money in content, and how many times a month should they consider investing in someone like you for the services that you offer?
So it's worth the investment if they're going to be consistent with it, and if they're going to be disciplined on like, all right, I have a shoot this day, I got to make sure I have these topics ready, I got to make sure I have these outfits ready, I got to have these homes ready to go shoot at. Like if you're going to be that consistent and that disciplined to make those plans ahead of time, like it's definitely going to be worth it. But if you're going to just book one time and then you don't get 1,000 views, 100 views even on that first video, you get discouraged, like it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to pop off on that first video. Yeah. Like the first 100, not even. Like you just got to keep being consistent, grow that image on social media, like show people who you are, be authentic, be like a genuine person, and just like not do it for the views. Yeah. Like do it because you want to just share that knowledge, especially for real estate agents. Because I've had a couple of real estate agents that have been wanting to do like YouTube video, long form content. And then they would send me like ideas of what they like, hey, I liked how they did this video. Could we do something like that? No, and I would tell them like, all right, this type of video, this 5-minute video probably took them 6 hours to shoot, probably like 10 plus hours to edit. And then this is what that costs. And they'll be like, okay, I'll let you know. And I never hear from them again. But there's like some like, all right, no, let's do it. Like I'm really wanting to build my brand on social media, so let's do it. So it just depends on that person if they want to like be committed to it. So
yeah.
It's always worth the investment. Putting like 90% of the time, you're going to have to put some sort of money, some sort of time, some sort of effort into what you want, you know.
Yeah.
And it's that scarcity mentality or abundance mentality, or a mindset where it's like, with the decision with the conference, it's like, yeah, it costs a lot of money, but is it going to give us what we need in the long run?
Yeah. I guess off of that question, I'm picking your brain on just this for insurance, real estate agents. I think it's useful if you're looking at hiring someone for them to kind of know these different things. But I guess one of them is like, do you think one of the reasons they don't pull the triggers because maybe they've done it before and they didn't see results, so they get very discouraged? I guess the instant gratification behind content is you're looking for the views, but you're also looking for the leads. So do you think a big turnoff for real estate agents or anybody in general trying to run a social media marketing campaign, whatever it is the results of doing it once is a turnoff for them? What's something you can encourage them besides consistency? I don't know. I guess you point us in that direction.
Yeah. No, I think that is one for sure. But then also like some clients that I've worked with, I've delivered videos for them that they've never posted only because they didn't like how they looked in the video. I'm like, what are you doing? You're holding back on so much good content that people are not even going to care what you look like. Like, just post it. Like, there's a video that I posted or that I did that was like a 20-minute long video. And that was like a year ago. They still haven't posted it on YouTube. Dang. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this was such a good video.
Yeah.
But all because your shirt wasn't tucked in. You're not going to post it. Like, so I think that, and then also comparing yourself to $1 million real estate agent that has a videographer full time following them everywhere they go. Like, you're not going to get that content right away. Like, you're not.
You got to be bold in the posting. I mean, that was part of it as starting this. I mean, listening to these things, like, it's a tough thing to go back and listen to your own stuff, watch you on video. It's cringy. Like,
exactly.
I have no doubt I've had like 6 cringy moments in this, this podcast, but it's
being here,
getting over it and moving forward anyways. And it's it's not about me. I think that was one of the biggest, like, the best piece of advice I've ever gotten is get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's what you're doing is more important than what you look like.
Yeah. Do you think a big thing behind that thought about people creating content is they don't really care about, I don't know, with social media nowadays, like, you get so sucked in that maybe your identity changes. So do you think a lot of people try to focus on the views and the likes as opposed to the value and the return on investment over time?
I think the ones that are not focused on the views and the likes and the engagement are the ones that succeed the most because they're being themselves and they're offering like valuable content. But then those that are so sucked in on, all right, I should post on Tuesday at 6 p.m. because that's when the most traffic is on. You're not gonna win that way. Just post when you feel like posting. Post the video where you feel comfortable and you like it. Like, if you say, like, you were barely waking up, but you got this crazy coffee that you loved, but you want to share it, but you don't have makeup on, like, you're just wasting it. You're just wasting time. So, I think
procrastination.
Definitely. So,
I feel like we covered a lot as far as, like, what you offer. So, I guess kind of to wrap things up, first of all, I want to thank you for being on. I know that we've worked a lot together, but we've never really gotten to know each other. I feel like you've gotten to know a lot about us just because you're in the back, running the cameras and everything. But it was really cool to see you and hear about your story, and it's very encouraging. And I hope a lot of real estate agents and people that are looking at creating content take a lot from this. Because I think you have a lot of really good golden nuggets from this podcast.
Agreed.
So I guess with that being said, if you want to share a quick rundown, elevator pitch, what they call it, of what kind of content you can create for people and where to find you.
Reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, anything, social media platforms. If you need listing photos, videos, social media content, like, let me know. I'm your guy, Saucedo Media.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you being on.
Yeah.
This was
we'll
fun.
see you guys next week. This one goes live sometime next week. We're not going to be specific about it. But yeah, we're going to release this one. And then, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. And again, thanks for being on, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Peace.